Championship belts, trophies, rings. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. If you're a fantasy football champ like me, fantasychamps.com. That's where you want to go. That's where you want to live. They got everything you need to celebrate you and your victory. Fantasychamps.com. Custom rings. I don't know what I'm going to get, but I'm going to get a whole bunch of swag, and I'm going to use the code BALLERS.
Dang it.
BALLERS at fantasychamps.com and save some cash.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in! Woo!
I don't know why Andy and I are here today. We really don't need to be here, Andy.
What's up, everybody?
That makes sense.
Welcome in.
All of that makes sense. The intro makes sense. Turn off our mics. Jason, you want to go watch some baseball?
Let's get into it, man. Spring training yet or what?
Oh, my.
Well, pitchers and catchers pretty soon.
Oh, man. You know what?
I
was pretty upset. You know, that you did the unthinkable. You got the double up our two primary leagues.
Super duper
the
champ.
super duper champ.
They said it couldn't be done.
Everything, of
I
course,
tried,
is bad
I
in the
failed.
world. But I'm not going to lie to you. Hearing that, you've been pretty chill today. But as soon as that intro music was playing and you came in, you made me happy. I'm happy for you.
I didn't
Thank
know
you.
if I was going to be walking, because I got in here later than you two. I didn't know if I was going to be walking into the double crowns, a robe. I didn't know what I was going to see. And then he was pretty chill. And then he took over the show immediately, which is really a preemptive celebration. This is not over yet.
True.
But honestly,
That's
yes.
right, Jeremy. For you just need 131 more points from your three players.
That's right.
Okay, so not anybody's game.
50 from Cousins, 40 more from Puka, and then you just need like another 45 from Kyron. There's not enough touchdowns in that game. Yeah, Mike is the double champ. He was so cautious to accept any congratulations early. I also do wonder, like, if you just asked the question, by the way, congratulations to everybody out there, all the Foot Clan titles.
Yes.
If you went up against Derrick Henry and you lost, I'm sorry.
Ain't no shame in that.
I'm sorry. That was one of the biggest fantasy performances in a long time, and that's why we say it takes a ton of skill to get to the playoffs. And sometimes if you go up against something like that, you just tip your cap and move on to next year.
Watching the end of that, like the where it was lining up with the Ravens, and you're like, oh, Henry's going to carry it one more time. And me and my boy were watching. I'm like, what if he scores? What if he scores one? And I was like, Henry, do it.
Vermont was
and then that defense
ravaged
was like,
by a blizzard.
They're like, nah, man, who cares? Go ahead, Derrick Henry. We don't need to stop this.
I mean, in the year of Mike, this was the ultimate the ultimate completion to your special year. Literally this week, the biggest performance in modern day history in a championship week was Derrick Henry, and probably the worst that I can remember in championship week was Josh Jacobs.
Does that give
you had Derrick Henry and you played against Josh Jacobs, so it was like right off the bat.
I did think with Jacobs' performance how that might have been comforting to you, knowing that
it was.
Had you made it through, you would have been
Derrick Henry,
you would have been beaten probably.
Derrick Henry had more touchdowns than Jacobs had yards.
Yeah, it was a 50-0 shutout that night. Al Borland had Josh Jacobs. Oh, he's off the injury report. Here we go. And if you looked at it from a matchup perspective, you're like, well, I don't feel amazing about. They know Henry's going to get the ball, right? You don't have Lamar Jackson. Like all the logic and stuff said, hey, this could be oh my gosh. It was a bloodbath.
But not
also,
for me.
But everything else that could happen went Mike's way this year. I mean, we kept seeing it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, everything, every desire. Luther Burden. I mean, you just like Luther. You just like him. You just like him. So he's the number one wide receiver on the week. It's like crazy. Mike has no more problems, personal problems at home. No more children. They've all been sacrificed for.
Christian McCaffrey, it was so symbolic for him to put the icing on the cake for Mike. And then he kind of left the field. He
Yeah.
left the field to stretch out. It looked like maybe he was hurt, and it was like, I did my job. Mike is now champion, and I may rest.
It was because of how fantasy football works. Christian McCaffrey goes out and puts up either his personal best or second best half of football in his career. The second half kind of
Let Mike down.
petered off.
Yeah.
But
He was hurt. He actually got hurt.
But Christian McCaffrey, RB1, it is done, my friend. At least for us, San Francisco, you're on your own. I don't care. I don't care about the 49ers' success or not. But Christian McCaffrey, from start to finish, oh my gosh.
Since 2019, running back 1, 53 and 39, injured. Running back 2, running back 1, champ. Running back 72, injured. Running back 1.
Christian McCaffrey.
If he had not been hurt, we would be talking surpassing the LT type of dominance in fantasy football. But this was Mike's call at the beginning of the year. I mean, it was
Jeremy. We had a Josh Jacobs Christian McCaffrey bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Who won?
I'm gonna crunch the numbers right now, but I think Mike's ahead.
I was so
like
boisterous.
for the week.
I went
on the season.
I went and I was like total points, and Jeremy was like, "Do you want points per game?" I was like, "No, total points."
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, you won that one.
I feel like the real moment, it began when Travion started to come alive.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's season from that point on was as perfect as it could get. And I know Papa Josh got eliminated in the semifinals and is praying he somehow doesn't pass Mike's points this week. I don't think he will, so I think he can be comforted in his failure. But there's so much going on. This week it's week 18, but we're wrapping up with the Monday Night Football game. Tons of championships on the line because you got big players in the game, right? Puka, Kyron, Stafford, Bijan, London, Pitts, right? Who's had a big role on a lot of fantasy teams in the fantasy playoffs. So there's a lot going on for champs out there. Mike already talked about it. FantasyChamps.com. Trophies, belts, rings. Use the code BALLERS. We have 2 Foot Clan title shirts now available on the website. If you go to Shop Ballers,
We're out.
Okay, Mike bought them all. Mike bought them all.
Dude, we have so many variations.
We do. We've got. Oh man, Mike must have bought so many things. Mike is like filtering his entire salary back into the company. Shopballers.com. Foot Clan title T-shirts, mugs. Celebrate your championship. We have the Footy Awards coming up soon. We have the Truth Series coming up soon. We've already started looking at some names in the collegiate scouting world, but we're not there yet.
Very soon.
Looks like Al Borland has sent you $100.
Thank you.
Because that's what you need right now. I will.
He does.
I do, yes.
Actually.
Mike was sending
This
some.
is going straight to FantasyChamps.com.
Mike was sending some updates this week. We all have these like Whoop bands on, right? That keep track of our, or I guess you got an Apple Watch. It keeps track of your heart rate and stuff like that. But he sent this like update, and it was like multiple hours of high stress.
That
right?
was 100% real. Nothing staged.
Your heartbeat.
I spent 2 hours in high stress, according to my Whoop, and all I did was sit
and watch
for
football.
8 hours.
Which begged the question. Like I started thinking about this. I was like, you got a double championship. This is a good feeling, I assume.
Yeah. It really is.
And stress, that leads to, a lot of health problems,
Sure.
long-term stress.
Right.
So I'm just wondering how many years off your life would you trade for what you just did?
I've lost years of
That's
my
what
life.
I mean.
Oh,
Like, would you like
Worth it.
if
Yeah.
that was the actual trade at the deadline,
every
like 2
man,
years
every
for 2
man
titles?
dies.
Would you give it?
Every man dies. Not every man is a super duper champ.
What did your family enjoy yesterday when you knew it was secure?
Well, do you want the real story?
Yes.
So, it's not
As
what
long
you
as
think.
it's safe for work.
It is. It's not what you think it is. So the my sister's brother, her family came over. They were doing Christmas because we weren't able to meet with them, and so their kids were over.
Hold on a second. Your sister's brother?
Sorry. That's me.
I was like,
Yes,
that's
me.
That would be your own
No, I was
brother.
thinking my sister-in-law
or
and brother.
yourself.
My wife's brother came over, and so they're doing their Christmas stuff. And I mean, it's a little dark, so I apologize. I'm watching Christian McCaffrey's first half is just basking in everything, and my father-in-law had passed over the summer, and so they were like, and for whatever reason, they decide this is the time that we're going to start working through some grief and like talking like all the events of the final days, and I'm sitting there watching and eventually I'm like,
wait, you're trying to be happy?
I'm like, I don't want to be insensitive, rude. I'm like,
but I'm going to scream right now.
You get the vibes. You guys are really, really killing my vibes right now. And they just start laughing hysterically. So I'm like, this is happy time. This is like the crowning achievement of my fantasy football career.
Right.
And you're over here like, no, you go.
Work.
You got to
go outside. It's nice outside. Go out back.
Wow. Yeah, it was a big week. And speaking of which, you submitted Monday Punday answers to the weekend, the good, the bad. I have not read or previewed one of these.
Oh, all right.
So I'm going to lay
blind.
all of this at the feet of Brooks, who put these in the doc. I have no clue if they're good or bad, but I bet they'll all sound good.
Read my roster.
Good to Mike.
Mike, you can
oh, yes, so Ring Henry.
Mike should just take all the good.
Okay. Christian McNasty. Ooh, who's this? Brock Party? Brock Purwee? How about Omarion Champton? Oh, Jason, this one's going to feel good for you.
Oh, yeah.
Audric Estimated. Who I love. Luther Berwin. Luther Beast of Burden. Okay. We got Drake and Bake.
I like that.
And I helped. How about Colston Dublin?
Mr. Dublin.
Mr. Dublin.
You want to handle these, Jay?
Sure. Taysom Nil. Taysom over the hill. Lost Jacobs.
Yeah.
Josh Fakebs. That was my guy. CD Sham. CD Lane.
A lot of hate for CD this
He
week.
was on my roster, and I was disappointed.
All right. Saquon Barkley.
Classic.
Jameer Phibbs. Yucky Irving.
He was bad.
Kenneth Gainless. Jared Goffel.
Uh,
Tataroa McVillan. And Seamus.
No, you can't.
No, that's good. Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties, yeah.
And Seamus and Williams. Yeah, that was there were big name duds.
There's some big pants that got filled this weekend.
What was I wanted to find that. Where's that graphic where Derrick Henry outscored? It was like 8 or 9 of the biggest names in fantasy. Amon-Ra and McConkey, and I wish I could find that graphic. If you see it, share it in the doc, and I'll read it out. It's the Kyle said he'll find it. It's just the most amazing list where, Derrick Henry against.
Yeah, I got it.
You do?
So Derrick Henry.
Yeah, tell me who he outscored by himself.
Let's see. The tweet was, or you just screenshot it. So it's Derrick Henry at 45.6 points.
Yeah.
If you add up Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, is it? I think that's Nico, Lad McConkey, Jacobs, Jameson, and Gibbs.
Gosh,
equal.
And Gibbs.
45.6 points for those 8 dudes.
You imagine if you went into a game and it was like you have Henry and they have
that
those
was your
8
roster,
guys, and that's your roster.
And you could have. Those are stars.
Yeah, I don't want to not everybody will win a title. And if you had some of these guys you got here, be proud of that. Be proud of the fact you made it to this week. Sometimes it goes your way with every single player in every situation, like Mike, and sometimes it doesn't. But what a wild weekend.
And congratulations to Matt in the Listener League,
yes,
who went
through a playoff run in a 14-team league averaging 138 points. That's hard to do. And his run went through Andy in the first round, Mike in the second round, and me in the championship.
Yeah, we were that meme of the Reaper just going through the doors.
So he'll be back.
Yeah, unfortunately not an extra spot in the listener league because we
tried.
All three of us tried to beat him, and we couldn't do it. Let's talk some news.
News and notes from around the league, presented by Progressive Insurance.
You will have Drake London tonight. You won't have Devontae Adams tonight. So a couple of injury updates for the evening. Not sure how to feel about this. The game was right there for them. Buffalo.
Oh.
He missed Josh Allen missed Khalil Shakir on a wide open pass to end the game.
Jason. Big Dome is so back, baby.
Yeah, baby.
I'm back.
That's right. Put a roof on it.
Because of the rain?
Yeah. How's that feel, championship week? Enjoy your football weather.
I mean, he just had to complete one pass.
And
I'm talking about Josh Allen for fantasy was like
Well, the last 2
fine.
weeks for Josh Allen were bad.
QB. I mean, look, QB 10.
And what did Philly have in the second half? Like 17 yards offense? I mean, it was terrible.
Hurts did not complete a pass in the second half, I believe.
Now, this is why the Eagles fans I know are very, very afraid. But their defense might be good enough to just win. Josh Allen got x-rays on his foot and ankle again after the loss.
Second week in a row. That's
still negative.
That's suboptimal.
He is trying to find something on these x-rays. He's like, I mean,
I'm telling you.
That's really what it means.
Yeah.
It means this hurts. Let's check it again.
Something is wrong in my foot. They just can't find it.
And they were right there, but they lost. Geno Smith suffered a high ankle sprain against the Giants.
Oh, man.
They actually
the tankathon game was just
there was one team tanking for sure.
It was so funny, the kind of almost back and forth before the game. The back and forth, this guy's going on IR. Oh, yeah? Well, our tackle's going on IR.
Wait, hold on. Brock Bowers? Well, guess what? Theo Johnson's not going to play.
You saw the Max Crosby video, right?
Yeah,
of him shooting baskets and
super hurt,
jumping on a trampoline.
He is a warrior, and he was mad.
Breece Hall had a huge game, had a 59-yard touchdown, hit his knee on the turf. They were worried about it. He said he's fine. He will not need imaging. Rashid Shaheed, concussion. Marvin Harrison did nothing.
I didn't even see that.
Jonathan Gannon.
He hurt his heel again?
Yeah, he was 0 for 1, I think.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, one target, didn't catch it.
And what a terrible team.
Oh,
the Cardinals are so bad. This guy
number 2
still on.
Is he still employed?
Yeah,
He's
still has a job.
Gainfully employed.
And honestly, I'm not positive he's going to be fired this offseason.
No.
No, I mean,
No.
now keep in mind,
No.
if we lose,
No.
if he loses this last game, he'll be the losingest.
If 14-point underdogs against the Rams, who need the game.
Yes. So
they will lose by more points than Mike scored this weekend.
When they lose the final game, he will be the losingest coach in Cardinal history.
He will be fired.
How could he not be?
He will be
literally
fired.
the worst of all time.
Drew Petzing will be fired. The whole team will be fired. I mean,
into the cannon.
I hate them.
Aim it at the sun.
I hate them, and here I am with a hat on. Jalen Waddle injured his ribs.
You know, for Christmas, I got some hats, like I was asking.
Yeah.
And
oh no,
I couldn't.
You were asking for hats?
I was, and a lot of them are Cardinal hats. And I just couldn't get myself to put it on. Yeah, and I have another hat that I really like. Is just a goat hat. I was like, I can't wear that today because this is Mike's day. So
Luther Burden injured.
You guys want one of these? These are Barrow's McLemonade hats.
I didn't even
limited
see
edition.
Your hat.
I can get you some.
That's his team. Gross. I'm back to big mad. No longer happy for you.
We're just trying to do a show, Mike.
I mean, I'm over here. I don't know how I'm going to afford the draft, guys. I'm going to need a loan.
Yeah,
the things I will have to do.
Yeah, the draft normally. The champ has been spending money on their presentation.
I'll get you the
super duper champ.
The info for the marching band. I was going to have.
Thank you.
Man, Luther Burden injured on the final play of the game. Quad injury, not believed to be serious. I saw another update moments ago that said he's just tired. That's what it said. Harold Fannin aggravated his groin injury.
That was, I mean,
after scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, thankfully he gave you a touchdown, but that was a big time bummer. What do you have? 10, he had 10 points or something in the first half of the first quarter.
Yep. Darnell Washington broke his forearm. This was terrible for the Steelers. They're now in a one-game battle for the playoffs, and Jason's dreams can come true if the Ravens win, which is that the first time Tomlin misses the playoffs is with Aaron Rodgers.
Steelers fans, like, I did have a rooting interest. I will admit that if Jalen Warren was on my team. Watching that game, I had no clue what the Pittsburgh Steelers were doing. They could get nothing going in the passing offense. Jalen Warren is just gouging every single time he's handed the ball, and they're like, we're going to do this with Aaron Rodgers, though. And
with MVS and
throw to MVS
no
every
Metcalf.
You lost. You had the chance to clinch the division, and you lost to the Cleveland Browns.
You targeted Denzel Ward 3 times in a row to end the game.
I mean,
to MVS.
So
if that was DK Metcalf and you're like, yeah, I want to take my shot with my best player, whatever.
Also,
it's still not a great.
How close it was really genuinely felt like DK Metcalf, if he's there, they might win that game. Like
they're
probably
3.5 point road or home underdogs now for the final week.
I think that
Warren was 12 for 64.
Like Metcalf's gaff probably cost them the playoffs.
They probably are going to miss it. Jatavian Sanders suffered a fractured ankle. Frankfurt ankle. No, this sucks. He's been
and that was like it was like the first or second play.
Yeah, he's been he's had a hard time staying healthy at times. That was News and Notes, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. We'll take a break, and we'll talk some of Mike's players. By the way, before we get into studs, just to focus on duds, you finally lost the championship game.
I did finally lose a championship game.
But he knew.
Every time he had made a title game in the past, you never knew the sting of defeat.
I never knew the sting, but it was one of those things where I knew going in, like I shouldn't have won the week prior because my team was a trash. So
yeah, you never once liked your team, and you almost won a championship with it.
Yeah, I scored the most points in the league, but it's weird, man. It's a weird.
You had the most points in the league, and then in the playoffs, you were like 90 points a week.
Yeah, because that's what the team should have been doing.
It was just out kicking the coverage for 15 weeks. All right, let's talk some studs. Championship studs.
This week's Fantasy Stud Muffins, presented by Lowe's.
Well, it was Drake May's week in about a half.
Goodness gracious.
Highest QBR, I think, in a really, really long time. But then Brock Purdy.
Ever.
It might have been ever. Brock Purdy passed him yesterday. Purdy is cooking right now.
Yes.
No George Kittle, and he's still cooking.
And it's like the man. Brock Purdy is playing so well. Like he's being elusive. He's making
that play where
great decisions. He's rolling out of the pocket,
avoiding three
multiple tackles for a wide open
finding a guy. I mean, that play was unbelievable.
Yeah,
that was not Kyle Shanahan.
Well,
that was not a scheme and a system of like, that he put him in this great opportunity. That was Brock Purdy making plays.
Yeah, Purdy was number one. Drake May number two. Malik Willis, which
dude,
I kid you not, I won a championship because of Malik Willis.
Well done.
I had a best ball league that I remember drafting him, going, Jordan Love always gets hurt, and Malik Willis. This was not dink and dunk. This was downfield targets. The rumors before the game was that Malik Willis is a free agent.
Yes.
And that he may get chance to start.
Oh, he will.
And then he comes out and does what he did there.
You combine.
I'll take him in Arizona.
You combine that with, was it last year or 2 years ago? Jeremy, you might remember. But like Malik Willis had a stretch where it's like they're winning. They're winning games, and Malik Willis is doing the things, like he's figuring out how to win.
Yeah, last year he started weeks 2 and 3 and won both of those games.
Yeah.
So
Jackson Dart, bounce back week.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. I know it's the Raiders, but
coming off him throw the football.
Yeah, coming off of the week where they were punishing Dart or just never letting him throw it was really weird, very discouraging. So this was great to see, and it was included 9 for 48 and 2 on the ground.
Yeah, he looked like the good Jackson Dart.
And
he will have better weapons.
Not in concussion protocol, to my knowledge.
No, he's not permanently part of it.
It seemed like every week he'd be in.
If they just do the protocol every week, he's in better shape. But next year, Malik Neighbors, Cam Scadaboo's return, and they're sitting at number 2.
Yeah.
They could trade down. They could make more investments in offensive weapons for him, offensive linemen for him.
Yeah, get him
Obviously, they would have had more draft capital to be able to trade down had they gotten the number 1 pick. But in truth, they have the number 1 pick for them because the Raiders are going to take a quarterback.
Right.
And so at number 2, they're going to get whatever player they want.
And the Raiders don't technically have it yet. Just to remind you, the Raiders should –
that team can't
lose next week, but it is Kansas City with a third-string quarterback. So
it's still better.
I'm
than
just
what
saying.
Raiders
I think their odds are
out.
like 80% right now, but it's not a lock. Josh Allen somehow
Yeah,
Josh Allen somehow ends up at number 5. So Trevor Lawrence had a good week. Caleb Williams, start of the week, 330-2.
Nice.
I don't understand with 3 timeouts and 70 seconds left on the clock at the 40-yard line of San Francisco how you ended up in a situation where you ran out of time on the goal line. I think that was a horrible mismanagement by that head coach who's been great all year. I'm just saying, like, there's no situation with 3 timeouts and the ball at the 40 where you should be running out of time before you can run enough plays on the goal line. They tried the hook and ladder, obviously. That didn't get him into the end zone. It was a tricky play, but you got to do that with a timeout, in my opinion. Tyler Shuck, baby.
Oh, gonna get shook tonight.
He was shucking it.
333-2. First 4-game winning streak for the Saints since Drew Brees was a quarterback for them. And
dude, this stat.
He's one of only 3 rookie quarterbacks with back-to-back 300-yard, no-interception games since 1970. Dak, Burrow, Shuck.
That's
you got to be excited as a Saints fan.
Yes, you do.
Because you've got your guy.
He's the rookie of the year. He's going to be the rookie of the year on offense. So
that's what a story.
And then Joe Burrow also got it done in his classic 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, got benched again for being too good.
Told you wanted it.
You did want it. Yeah, Derrick Henry, obviously.
Thank you, Jamar Chase, for them touchdowns.
Yeah.
Number 1, Derrick Henry on the week for running back and everybody. Chase Brown, Mike's guy. Christian McCaffrey,
I got him.
Mike's guy. Number 2 and 3, Charbonnet. There it is.
Yeah.
Charbonnet, 25.2 fantasy points. I saw something this morning. I think it was from Underdog. I want to give them credit for posting it. Do you know the points per game of Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet?
Oh,
no.
What are they, like, dead even?
10.1 points per game.
For both?
For both.
Oh, my gosh. And if you look at, like, percentage of points from yards and percentage of points from touchdowns, I'll bet they are wildly different.
Yeah.
Just a yin-yang.
Ramondre, I think he only had 8 carries in this game, still had 24 fantasy points.
Ramondre.
You knew it was coming.
I did, and it was thank goodness Travion Henderson. If you were against Ramondre, thank goodness Henderson came back from the concussion, because if he had gotten all the work in that time period, he might have scored 3 touchdowns, 4 maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it was an amazing redemption story for Chase Brown on the year. The start to the season was atrocious. I mean,
that's Joe Burrow.
I started this year in League of Record with Burrow and Chase on my roster. Burrow goes down, and fast forward, like, it's a long season. The Chase Brown story is a story of remembering it's a long season, and this was a complete, unadulterated bust. He wasn't running well. He wasn't scoring. The team was atrocious. He just won people championships. 5 touchdowns in the final 2 weeks. Strong argument for fantasy MVP in terms of that stretch.
Yeah, from I mean, I don't remember when Flacco got there, but it's like you can see week 6, RB20 with 8 points. Okay. I mean, better than the crap he had been giving you, but from then on.
Flacco got there week 6.
And then from then on, it was double digits at least every week, and then 2 top 5 finishes in the last 2 rounds of the playoffs.
One month does not a season make. I mean, if you look at that first month and you know, you're Chase Brown, my guy, you're Jameson Williams, my guy.
Just ask Ibuka and Jameson Williams whether a month of the season
so funny
defines things for you. I was looking up this morning. First 7 weeks of the season, Ibuka was the wide receiver 6 through 7 weeks.
It's a long stretch.
And Jameson Williams was the wide receiver 40 through 7 weeks.
Oof.
From week 8 on, they completely flipped. Wide receiver 6, wide receiver 40, basically.
Like that, the run.
You need to stay water. This is why we say you never get to lock in the lineup that you think looks really pretty and then just do nothing.
No, I mean, Mike he made a trade for Justin Jefferson. He had Cortland Sutton
for the playoffs.
Yeah, he had a team that was number 1 in the league at that point, and he didn't just sit there and rest. He swapped those guys for the Chase Burrow stack, played against the team you made that trade with in the championship game, and you got the Chase Burrow stack against his Justin Jefferson and Cortland Sutton.
Also traded for Chase Brown at the deadline.
Right.
I mean, the moves were – it's the year of Mike.
And so for Chase Brown, too, if you're in Dynasty, you got to be very, very happy about the way that things went mean, you go from weeks 2 through 5. That's a running back who for sure is getting replaced next year.
Also,
there's a chance they just roll with Chase Brown next year, and he's the guy again.
I would like the NFL to enact more of a collegiate playoff committee, and I would like the Saints to be awarded the South title because they will be more entertaining than whatever's happening in Tampa or Carolina. So I want the Saints to be given the title to go to the playoffs. Yeah. I would also like the Bengals to be given the title in the North because I don't really want to watch Pittsburgh or Baltimore as much as I'd like to watch Chase Brown and Jamar Chase and Burrow. So I would like to award those 2 titles.
Do you think Harbaugh, Baltimore version, learned his lesson? They should have won 2 weeks ago if they just kept giving Henry the ball.
Derrick Henry?
And then he got so much crap for it. It's like, hey, this week we're just giving Henry the ball every play.
I hope the way he thought about it was like, oh, yeah, this is what you want?
Right.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Watch, see if he can handle it.
See if I'll give him his career high in carries. I don't care. Let's watch what
like when Lamar comes back, if they win this week and they get in the playoffs and Lamar comes back and it's round 1 of the playoffs, you should be giving Derrick Henry the ball every play. I don't care. Just through the NFL playoffs, just hand it off to Derrick Henry 80% of your
Does it
plays.
feel like you had a 1,500-yard and 16-touchdown season, Jason?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, for Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the perception from a lot of people.
I guess coming off this week, it's hard to not feel like it.
Well, yeah, but this season was not one in which we talked about Derrick Henry a ton on the studs every week, and yet he just persists as a machine. JCM, hey, guess what? This was cool. Let's just rule Chris Rodriguez out moments before the game due to illness, and JCM had a monster game. Breece Hall, we talked about it. Last week,
Estime, come on.
Last week, Jason's start of the week was Audric Estime.
And the guy that
and he played him.
I played him in my matchup. I picked him up. I recommended playing him. It seemed like he would be the guy. But lo and behold, I forgot about a player who didn't exist basically in Taysom Hill, who became their starting running back.
For one game in the Superdome.
For one game, which is probably his last game at home in the Superdome. And then they're like, okay, now let's go to what we were going to do. And Audric Estime 14 for 94 and a touchdown.
That feels good, right?
Feels good and bad.
So Jonathan Taylor rushed for more yards than Estime did against the Titans, who have been a very stingy run defense. Estime, as a player, has the second most yards against the Titans of all the running backs that they have faced.
Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy. Hampton ended up catching 8 passes in this game.
That saved him.
And got a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor a touchdown and was 21 for 70. At wide receiver this week, Luther Burden, 23.8.
I love Luther Burden.
We got word late. Again, I thought I was cursed once again with illness. I had Chris Rodriguez as start of the week, right? Goes down to illness. Then I'd named Caleb Williams start of the week, and we get word yesterday as I'm driving, DJ Moore and then Zacchaeus, both down with illness. You're already missing a Dunze. I'm like, great. But Luther Burden stepped up, 23.8, Olave 21.9, Jamar Chase, Chris Godwin, and Christian Watson rounding out the top 5.
Burden is going to be a menace.
Yeah, this is one of those, a lot of times people, they don't make the playoffs, they check out. They don't pay attention, they don't keep up with football the rest of the way. You might miss this real, because it's very late in the season, but Burden's having a breakout. The way that it happened where he started looking amazing and then got injured and then missed the game, and then thankfully that was, prime time, so I think more people saw it, but Burden will be very interesting next year. You look at this roster, DJ Moore should be back unless they trade him because contract-wise.
They owe him so much money.
But Rome should be healthy and much better. Then you've got this Burden breakout.
Yeah.
The
and
Loveland.
Mr. Loveland. Yeah.
Breakout.
Touchdown guarantee.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Ka-ching.
Luther Burden, Colston Loveland. The future is here.
It's fun. Congratulations, Bears.
Yeah. It's exciting. And look, you were right there. You could have won this game easily. It's against the team that might get the number 1 seed in the entire conference. And, the playoffs are going to be fun. And Luther Burden, nice that he's not super hurt.
Right.
Olave ends the year, or is going to end our fantasy season as the wide receiver 6. 8 for 119 and 1. getting shucked each and every week.
102 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 13 touchdowns is his pace with Shuck. That's
man.
That is what Chris Olave has done with Shuck, and it's been super consistent. Almost every single game a good game. One bad game, one mediocre game, and everything else great.
I mean, in 14 yards a catch.
This
is
he's a good wide receiver.
Yes, he's always been a good wide receiver. Has been surrounded by garbage. We're rolling out Spencer Rattler and Derek Carr is like this. Stop it. Get out of here. That's not the solution. Then the concussion situation. So the Olave being back to relevance is
the dynasty value of Olave has been just a.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I would trade him.
An M shape.
Oh.
Yeah, well,
I would trade
concussion worry.
No, not as by the way, shout out to Olave. He's going to play 17 weeks. I mean, he's playing next week, and the concussions. It wasn't just last year. Like he had been knocked out previous years with injury. So amazing for this dude. I would trade him on the sort of like if you can get this kind of value for him. I saw a list, and I wish I could find the tweet. Maybe Kyle can of what the other starting cast and that Tyler Shuck has other than Olave.
Oh, yes.
The starting 7 or 8 players.
It's Jawanson.
I mean, it's undrafted players. It's nobody's, right? Vele's hurt. They don't have other receivers. I'm not going to say he's going to Brian Thomas next year, but it has some similarities to me where it's like you're the only show in town by a wide margin. They should go out and spend some money on some pass catchers next year. And I think that will make a difference on the target share. I don't know if it stays the same. I'm not saying Olave's a bust.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I think they might be happy with Vele though. Like there's.
I would guess that they'd add some more. And then Vele hasn't been there in the last few weeks, but he's been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Olave's an awesome player. So I don't know what the view is on Dynasty where you guys have him right now in the rankings.
It's really tough because when you have a young, talented wide receiver, that's like what I just drool over for Dynasty. And so it's very difficult.
Luther Burden or Chris Olave?
Ooh.
Chris Olave for me.
Yeah, I think it's Olave.
Tetero and McMillan or Olave?
Oh, man. I'll go Tet there.
Aroa.
Thank you.
Don't.
Tetaroa.
There we go.
Nico or
what
Olave?
What is the age gap there?
It's 26.8 for Nico and 25.5 for Olave.
Then I'll go Nico.
Yeah, I'll stay with Nico. But
Abuka or Olave?
Oh, man.
Abuka's 23 years old. Like that would be the that would be the kind of trade.
Be the trade, yeah.
That's the trade you could do.
And I would do it. I'd rather have Abuka.
So that's the kind of situation because you still have the concussion risks, but I mean we're a year-round show. We're gonna be talking Dynasty stuff.
That's the thing is you will have to take the risk, the gamble of Olave, who's been producing, and go get someone else who is underperforming, and sit in that for
what is
an
wrong?
entire offseason.
What is wrong with Tampa,
dude?
I mean, Todd Bowles is gonna get fired, isn't he?
They're
supposed to be a defensive team. They can't stop anybody.
There was a report yesterday that said no, Bowles is going to be safe, but it might be time. I think we've seen the best that Bowles can put out there.
The defense is atrocious. The offense is taking a step back. Bucky Irving is not himself right now. They didn't have Tristan Wirfs. I realized that, but Baker's missing people.
Yeah.
I'm so bummed. They were so fun.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean. Of like last year, that was electric, and that wasn't enough to get it done. I don't know.
Yeah, big week for Stephon Diggs. Christian Watson keeps it going. Michael Wilson kept it going, and Wandale, who I think Jason mentioned towards the end of the week. Big weeks for those guys at tight end. Shout out to the all-time leader.
There he is.
McBride ended up number one.
All-time leader in receptions in a single season, Trey McBride, who passes Zach Ertz, who he passed on the depth chart in Arizona. And Trey McBride,
dude, just the
purely
stinkiest
dominant
garbage touchdown. Oh, man.
Hey, they still
count. That was delicious garbage.
Yeah.
You got to hit it.
Oh, the garbage man can.
Oh, man.
Still got another week for Trey McBride to add to the total. He's at 119 receptions.
119 receptions at tight end.
He may be at 130 by the end of next week.
With 11 touchdowns, which is like, I mean, that is
Kyler would never.
Kyler couldn't.
Also, Jacoby, I mean, it ended up okay, but it's like he kind of pumpkined there.
I mean,
over the last
the Cardinals were winless with Jacoby.
But I'm saying he was giving us high-flying production. And
it's so Winston, Flacco, whatever. It's the same stuff.
Jacoby is a very, very good NFL backup. This is his 10th season. Like, we know what Jacoby is and what he isn't. He is fine for fantasy to come in and, just sling it around a lot, but he's a backup.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, all the fun that Joe Flacco is providing. Joe Flacco is well below 500 as a starter in the last 3 years. These guys come in, Winston, they come in, they give us joy in our hearts, and then they lose. And
Phillip Rivers has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And no wins.
Yeah, yep. Trey McBride, number 1. Colston Loveland, number 2.
Mr. Loveland.
And Tonjes McBasketball, number 3.
Yeah, so of everything we were all going through, last week, I'm keeping myself included, of what do we do to replace George Kittle? You're like, hey, I went with Brenton Strange. It was, do you believe in Taysom Hill? What has happened here? This. It was Tonjes McBasketball. It was a.k.a. Brock Purdy.
It was the answer for both the Kittle and the Bowers situation, because Michael Mayer ended up with 13 points, number 5 on the week. And that was the story. We had a big touchdown and a score for Chiga Conquo.
Yeah, that was a man.
That was a
man
touchdown.
He's such a funny guy because
he lives for the end of the season.
He makes plays like that every year, and you're like, oh, he should be like a huge, great tight end. And Juwan Johnson 4 for 95, Jason start of the week. Harold Fannin got in the end zone, thankfully. Gadsden scored again. Barner scored again. Hunter Henry scored again. And we'll take a break, and we'll talk about and commiserate with some players not on Mike's team. This episode is supported by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or making picks for the first time, trying something new, well, that can be difficult. But in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. I'm talking to Papa Josh here. It always feels good to be more right than Papa Josh. Look, Prize Picks now has early payouts. I just found out about this. If your player gets off to a hot start, you've got the option now to cash out on those winnings before the game even finishes. And they have a social feeds feature. You can share your Prize Picks with your friends. You can copy lineups from winners with one click. My only rule is you don't follow or accept friend requests from Papa Josh himself. Look, how simple is it to get started? We come from the app development world. We love the Prize Picks app. It's super easy to use. It's just smart and clean and easy. It's not like anything else out there. It's made the sport watching experience super fun. It just adds some value to the sport watching experience, and we absolutely love it. So you can download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code Footballers to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is the code Footballers to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
Pooped in his big boy pants.
Well, who let you down? Jared Goff and Jalen Hurts let you down.
Dude, that Jared Goff game, I can't.
3 fumbles lost, 2 interceptions.
Minnesota's a good defense, but that was
not that good.
Yeah, that was some bad play.
Sam Darnold ended with a pretty bad performance as well. Jalen Hurts was 13 for 27 for 110 yards. I don't know if you saw the video of they caught Nick Sirianni coming down the tunnel at the end of the game. Did you see this?
No, I haven't seen it.
Obviously, they stopped. I mean, Philly
won.
Philly said no to that 2-point conversion, is what everyone said, and I'm like, he was wide open.
Yeah.
And he's just Sirianni's he's a loud guy, and he's just like, they can't do no more talking now, blah blah blah, and he's doing that down the tunnel, and then he does it kind of like to AJ Brown. If you could see the indifference on AJ Brown's face, there was no hype, there was no excitement. AJ Brown knew what really happened in that game, which was an offense that threw for 110 yards.
I mean, be excited in your win, celebrate your win. But
talking about AJ Brown?
No, the coach.
Oh yeah,
I'm saying be excited. You won. You beat the Bills. You stopped the 2-point conversion.
I'm going to say something
but
here.
Don't go out of control.
I think Papa Josh is more dignified in his victories than Nick Sirianni.
Wow.
Which is, I mean, look at Josh's face right now.
Oh, man.
Even Josh knows how undignified he is.
And I'll tell you what, when it's going bad for Papa Josh, he doesn't bring his kids in and use them as a shield for the media.
Oh, man. Philly fans are not going to disagree.
No, yes, they're not going to be mad. They're mad at Sirianni.
Here's a fun stat from Robert Mays. Were you going to read this?
I was going to bring up the stat of Sam Darnold.
Oh, no. Let me finish the Jalen Hurts stat here. Per True Media Sports, there have been 10 games this year where a team has had fewer than 5 passing yards and a half. Eagles have 3 of those games.
Holy crap.
And they still
I don't think this
might
Eagles
win
team
the Super Bowl.
I don't think this Eagles team, if the offense is playing like that, can make it through 3 rounds. I'll say that.
Yeah, the offense has to.
Their offense can show up.
Exactly.
They have the players to do it.
Their offense has been bad, but they still have the same. I mean, Lane Johnson is so much to this offense. They haven't had him. They get him back. All of a sudden, the offense gets healthy and better at the right time. They're literally the Super Bowl champions. Like,
it could happen.
But no, I was laughing at the amazing truth of Sam Darnold now joining the very elite, now 5-pack of quarterbacks with consecutive 13-win seasons.
These are nobodies, right? Brett Favre.
Tom Brady did it twice. Brett Favre did it once. Peyton Manning did it once. Aaron Rodgers in his MVP stretch. And now Sam Darnold.
I'm Doonies.
This is that Hydra gift for sure.
If the Seahawks played Philly 10 times, what's the record?
Splitting home?
Yeah.
I'd give the Eagles 6 of the 10.
I think that's...
I feel about the same.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs. Oh my gosh. 4 for 3.
Off the injury report, huh?
Oops.
That is a fart in the pants.
Oh,
that was not just air.
Yeah. that was
a steaming pile.
Gamble and lose.
Imagine going into your title week and you're like, man, I'm gonna play Jacobs and Jahmyr Gibbs and I'm gonna flex Saquon.
Well, the nice thing is you probably did not have to play Josh Jacobs in the championship. Most people did not because of how bad he was the week before. And he kicked me out of the playoffs, so I didn't have to experience that. But I mean, you're talking about literally 2 active weeks in a row in the playoffs where you combine the games and you don't have 5 fantasy points combined. That's insane.
4 carries for 3 yards is as embarrassing as it gets. Play calling wise, I don't know how you end up there, but I guess when you don't play any defense against Derrick Henry, like it's a shame for our entertainment as not being a Packers fan. It's a shame that the Lions blew that game.
Right.
Because this would be, I mean, you'd be sitting here going into the final week with a chance for the Lions to pass the Packers. Jahmyr Gibbs, 17 for 41.
Brosmer is just too much.
Yeah, Max Brosmer. Yeah.
To overcome.
Carson Palmer today is twice the quarterback. Like if you just brought him in, then Max Brosmer. Saquon didn't catch a pass. Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell, we were worried about the fact that, hey, if Green Bay beat Baltimore, they might let these guys rest. They let them rest anyway, to their own maybe playoff detriment.
They scored 6 points, man. 6 points. And both running backs were running well. 19 carries between Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell in that environment is unacceptable.
Michael Carter, 7 for 29.
Yeah, that one's...
At the end of the day...
That one's a big bummer.
He's Michael Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrone Tracy, 14 for 62. That's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
At wide receiver, this was where people really... we talked about all the different names that showed up. If you add them all together, they don't equal Derrick Henry. Well, CeeDee Lamb, Nico Collins, Amon-Ra, those were Jameson Williams. Those were all guys in that list. Tedero McMillan, 1 for 5.
That game was ridiculous. Bryce Young's line, do you guys know what it is?
I know he barely threw for any yards.
Well, he threw the
93
ball 20,
yards?
He threw the ball 24 times.
Okay.
And he completed 58% of his passes.
That's pretty bad.
54 yards.
54 total yards?
54.
Wait, that's real?
54 passing yards.
Yeah. Remember I was telling you how much more fun Shuck and Olave would be in the playoffs than watching that team or Tampa Bay right now?
Yep.
Nico Collins, unfortunately, did not catch either of the long bomb touchdowns. Those went to Noel and Higgins.
Yeah.
He was 3 for 57. Not going to win you the week with that. Tedder McMillan, I said it. DJ Moore was sick, had one catch. Not sick like, yo, that was sick. More like,
yeah,
you lose.
Illness.
Jamison Williams is 2 for 37. Part of the golf experience. Jefferson,
oh man,
4 for 30. He literally, when 4 for 30 was like, man, that's pretty good with what Brosmer's doing. That tells you his quarterback
Justin
situation.
Jefferson's fantasy points since week 10.
Oh no.
5, 8, 6, 1, 2, 3, 11, 5. Those are total fantasy points in a week. I mean that.
Like if you started like Ryan Flanoy or Isaac Tesla or Jalen Coker, you were better off, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean Justin Jefferson.
Invisible.
I don't understand how you can be as good as he is, perhaps the best wide receiver in the entire National Football League, and have a run of that much irrelevance while healthy. I know your quarterback was a backup and then a backup to the backup. That doesn't matter. Like I feel like if one of the three of us were playing quarterback, we could at least try to get him the ball a little bit more.
The first two games after Burrow went down, Jamar Chase scored 6 points and 4 points with
yeah, that was
who was the pre-Flacco backup whose name was escaping? Yeah, Jake Browning.
Like this, that was, when that was going on, it's like, how does this possibly get fixed? And then some miracle is Joe Flacco shows up and fixes it enough that Joe Burrow can come back. But like the fix is, will JJ McCarthy's going to be their guy next year? Will he be able to be good enough?
Man, I don't know.
To get Justin Jefferson. I mean, that week 16, that was Jefferson, or that was McCarthy. And the last couple of weeks, his injury, the timing of the injury sucks so much.
Well, it's Magic Mike. You were facing Jefferson.
Well, I apologize for that.
Mike,
because I want J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings to be good.
I mean,
the timing was awful.
Since week 10, Drake London basically has as many points as Justin Jefferson. He's played 3 games to Justin Jefferson's 8. I mean, John Mechie has more fantasy points than Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, where does that take him in the draft?
He can't be a first rounder, right? I mean,
I think.
But the name, I mean, bypassing Justin Jefferson is going to be hard in your drafts next year.
And it might be to your own peril.
For sure. I mean, obviously, there's no one in the world who's going to say that Justin Jefferson is not a great wide receiver.
Let's have a conversation about another player that I want to know if you think he's a great wide receiver. Last year, he played 69% of the snaps.
Nice.
He had 1,100 receiving yards, averaged 12.5 fantasy points per game. This year, he's playing 78% of the snaps, has 789 receiving yards, and averages 9 fantasy points per game. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You talking about my little lad?
I'm talking about your little lad. He is little right now. 66 for 789 is not what you hoped for. He's still, I mean, he's got 6 touchdowns. He had 7 last year, so it's not like that's the differentiator in the fantasy points per game.
Yeah, they have
2 targets, 1 for 31.
They have other places to go with the ball now with Keenan Allen. Their great rookie selection of pass catchers, including Gadsden, Trey Harris. They've got
Huge is the biggest
right,
one.
and Huge
was gone. He had disappeared. He would not factor in this offense, and then it all came together.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think Ladd is any worse or has taken a step back. It's just he is the type of player where he's not the dominant alpha one for a team. He's a great possession wide receiver when needed. He's not always needed. He's certainly not needed as much as he was last year. And so I think we discussed this during the draft season. I was pretty low on McConkey for where he was being drafted just because there's a lot of ways that he could not have the same market share.
What is Brian Thomas? 4 for 39 in this game. Brian Thomas, just to give you the same thing I just did for McConkey, 14.1 fantasy points per game last year, 1,200 yards, 87 and 10. This year, 8.3 fantasy points per game, 45 for 658 and 2. I mean, BTJ was drafted ahead of McConkey. Both were drafted very high. And the dynasty forecast for BTJ, I mean,
I think you can still have some optimism.
But the long-term deal for Jacoby Myers and the addition of Travis Hunter is not even playing right now. I mean, Parker Washington was great again. We didn't talk about him in the studs. We should have. He was outstanding.
Yeah.
His after the catch is what makes him special.
Yeah, I thought last week was just Surtain on Brian Thomas Jr. But Parker Washington.
I really wonder if he's going to be gone, man. I really
Parker?
do. Yeah, because I just look at.
Is he a free agent?
No, not Parker.
He's
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, Brian
BTJ.
Thomas.
Like
okay.
I just Strange, Myers, Hunter, Parker. That's 4 names that they've used a lot, and they're a 13-win team, right?
He's
a 12-win team.
He's on a rookie contract, and so unless they are desiring to trade him, I think he is really a perfect fit for this team in the sense that he doesn't. I mean, right now he's not an alpha, but he's like. Even if he's their wide receiver 3,
he's not.
I'm sure he's not happy.
That's all I'm saying. Like,
but the team has to be to have him as your like wide receiver 3.
It doesn't add up to me. The math doesn't check out to me of him staying there. A 1,400-yard receiver that you're not going to give anything close to that work. Those things don't last.
Yeah, I hope he's traded. I really do.
Buffalo is calling. Brian Thomas Jr. Pick up the phone. And limping into the final week of the year, Taysom Hill did nothing.
Oh my gosh!
We started getting out on Hill probably Friday. I put a few tweets out there, people asking questions about Taysom Hill or any other name. I'd kind of give you 2 or 3 names that didn't include Hill because we found out that he was just saying goodbye.
Yeah, Mike had tweeted at. Underhill,
yeah,
and to get information because I was pretty high on Taysom Hill when we were recording the shows last week, but then after that we got the information on X from Underhill that there was a press conference basically talking about getting him involved for his last home game at the Superdome, and so hopefully you're following us on X.
Yeah, I brought it up again on Sunday Live too.
Yeah, we did start pivoting and going away from Taysom Hill, thankfully, because he ended up with 0 targets and 0 rushing yards after being like a third of their offense the week prior.
Travis Kelce's 5 for 36, maybe his last game ever next week for Kansas City, and that was Studs and Duds presented by Lowe's. Lowe's knows Sundays are for NFL football. Earn your Sunday with Lowe's, official partner of the NFL. We're going to talk through some NFL playoff scenarios, team motivation levels, mailbag. Wednesday this week, which is New Year's Eve, we're going to do kind of a megalodon, a Week 18 megalodon with all the Week 18 matchups. The Wheel of Shame starts of the week, and no show on Thursday and Friday this week, New Year's Day and the day after. So a big week for you Week 18 weirdos, which is the official term.
Right.
Week 18 weirdos. We're still here for you.
We love you.
We're being weird with you.
But we're going to complain.
But this is the week where I really relate to early 1900s coal miners. That's all.
Yeah, right. I get that.
They had it tough. We have it as tough as them. Tougher than them.
Yeah.
Doing the heavy lifting of Week 18.
Like black lung, carpal tunnel.
Yeah. Like they kind of walked into a void, and I feel like we might be talking into a void with Week 18. So it's very, very similar. But they had the canaries, which are like cool little birds, and we don't have that.
Yeah, we don't have any mascot or pet around here
that we can sacrifice.
Yeah. So
I guess they did do that with the canaries, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
You go die.
Yeah, they were sacrificial canaries. But that's what we got on the docket. One more reminder for you. If you need a championship shirt, buy them before Mike buys them out, shopballers.com. And if you need trophies, rings, belts, things to bring to your draft next year and get your brag on.
Yeah.
then go to fantasychamps.com, use the code BALLERS. That will be it for today. Those of you that are still having championships on the line, good luck tonight in Monday Night Football.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.